Hello and welcome to another episode of Chino and the Hills. I'm your host, Thomas Ryan, and today we have a special guest, Gabriel Sirlopu, with Code Ninjas here in Chino Hills. So, Gabriel, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, no, thank you for having me, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, most definitely. We're recording this here, the first week in November. We plan to recorded last week, but with a lot of people in the Chino Hills area, obviously with affected by the fires, Gabriel
Yeah,
was one of those that was forced evacuation. So we're fortunate that everybody was all good. Gabriel was all good, and it seems like the city was overall properties and stuff like that unscathed. So we're thankful for that, and thankful we're able to reschedule
right.
this interview.
Yeah. It was an intensive week last week, that's for sure.
Yeah. Most definitely. Well, let's get into the questions. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Who are you? Where'd you grow up? Schools, cities you've lived in prior to being here in Chino Hills area.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I'm Gabriel Sirlopu, and I'm the owner of Code Ninjas in Chino Hills. I actually grew up in New Jersey, so my family and we moved to California about 5 years ago. Um, we essentially left our family and friends behind. So we were chasing the sun, just like a lot of people do. We were trying to get away. My wife she has been pushing to move to California for a while now. And hey, happy wife, happy life, right? So we decided to make that leap and make the move about 5 years ago. Um, and here we are. I tell this to a lot of people where, they ask why Chino Hills, and as crazy as it may sound, I literally just picked a random spot on the map. Like I pulled Google Maps and I did a pin drop. I went around LA County and looked for different cities around LA County, and I ended up with Chino Hills. Having kids, one of the main things that we were looking for was a great school district, and that's how we ended up in Chino Hills. Prior to that, of course, I spent 6 years in the Air Force, so I was active military for 6 years. I was doing a lot of system administration, like computer operations in the Air Force, and then after that, I landed a job for a DoD contractor. So I was in the DoD sector doing like software engineering, and that's what I went to school for. So I went to school in Drexel in Philadelphia. So I have two masters from Drexel, one in information systems with a concentration on cybersecurity, which is huge now, and another one in software engineering. And that's really, that's how it all started, right? My love in tech, and how, we decided to make to open a business associated with tech. Um, but yeah, that's really where, how it all started. From being in the Air Force, being exposed to different technologies too, and just that's how I really, my love for tech, actually, that's how it all started, like I said. But yeah.
Got
um,
it. Got
yeah.
it. Makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we've obviously alluded to it. Code Ninjas. Tell us a little bit about that involvement in the community. What exactly Code Ninjas is?
So at Code Ninjas, so we it's a STEM center, a center where kids learn how to uh, program and do coding by they just learn how to code by building video games. All kids love video games, right? I personally love video games. So, our center, the goal is to have the kids learn to code by just building them. And we also have robotics involved. So we follow a curriculum, and I mean we can go into detail later, but um, basically, that's the main objective, just to have the learn the basic concepts of programming by building video games. And we offer like flexible schedules, with busy parents. Here, especially in our community, everyone's going all over the place after school. So our program is pretty flexible, so they can come in, drop in the kids at any time during our student hours, like weeknights, weekends. So they don't miss a class per se, which is really, I mean, as a parent, I mean, I love that, right? Because when I sign up my kids for soccer or any other sports, on the weekends, birthday parties, well, now it's a little limited because of COVID, but
Sure.
we miss so many games because of that. And it's like at the end, you're paying for, 15, 20 games and only going to 10, right? But that's the difference in our center. the flexible program.
Got it. How long have you guys been open?
We opened in November. It's actually we turned one this month.
Okay.
We opened November 29 of 2019. That was our soft opening, but officially we opened the doors then. We had our grand opening in January 11 of this year. So basically, yeah, this month we actually turned one. And I mean, this year has been a roller coaster for everyone, right? And especially for a new business like us, we can't can't say that it hasn't, right? It has been for sure.
Yeah, if there's anything that we've learned from this year is that, tech is obviously we know it's important, but even more so than we would have ever thought probably. For
Yeah,
instance, mediums like this, being able to have our interview done over a Zoom meeting
right,
and beyond. So
right.
it makes a lot of sense. Congratulations on the 1 year.
Thank you, appreciate
Yeah.
it.
What is, obviously, you have a background in the industry, but what inspired you to open Code Ninjas for the youth?
Yeah, so back in New Jersey, besides my daytime job, I started teaching after hours. I started as a computer science professor at a community college. So I started teaching young adults and adults that wanted to, they would go to night school to learn about, programming. And it all started there, right? So I would go to my job and then go to the community college and teach for a couple hours, and just to see their faces when they would learn something new about programming, right? And I'm talking about 20-year-olds and 30 and some even 40-year-olds, right, that wanted to change their careers at that time, and they were just looking for something different. They knew that tech was moving fast, and a lot of jobs were going to require tech, and just teaching them and just seeing their reactions, and it just the gratitude was so much bigger than my regular day job. So and that's when I figured it's like, maybe teaching is my calling, right? Something that I really wanted to do. Originally I wanted to do my own thing. um, and then we moved out here. By that time we had two kids. By the time we moved, we only had two kids, but as soon as we got here, we found out we are having a third kid, so we're like surprised, right? Like, welcome to California, right? We have a
Yeah,
third kid. So that's a nice welcome. And so we put that on the side for a little bit because I really wanted to open a business associated with teaching and coding. So we put it aside, concentrate on our third, and the year went by, and then I started looking. Now, by having kids, I noticed that there was a gap in STEM. And the STEM, for those that don't know, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And there was a big gap in the school system, teaching STEM to the kids. And that's where the light bulb came on and said, hey, maybe instead of doing it for adults or young adults, maybe I need to target kids, right, and fill those gaps, right. And that's really what inspired me. I mean, it's just being able, my teaching experience, and just having kids, really, and making sure that my kids stay ahead of me, right. Uh, Everyone wants their best for their kid, right. So that's being a tech, it's something that I would always ask, like, even for, I would go to preschool with my one kid and say, oh yeah, so what do you do for STEM, right? It's just it's the nature of it, right? You're in tech, you're always going to ask those questions. So that's how it all started.
sure. Got it. Now, for our listeners or viewers, where exactly are you located? And you kind of talked about the open-ended hours and stuff like that. What are your hours?
Yeah, so we are located in the Commons at Chino Hills, and that's the shopping center where Yogurtland is, Orange Theory. We're located right on the busy side of that shopping center. We're open from Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., and then Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. But because of COVID, we are closing 1 hour earlier right now. But so it's 10 to 2 on the weekends, on Saturdays, and 3 to 7 during the week. But like you mentioned, like I mentioned before too, is we have flexible hours, so that's very convenient for all the parents.
Um, go into how has COVID kind of affected the business? Were you shut down completely for a while? Were you able to take things digitally? Are we in person again? What's the scenario there?
Yeah, so you know, I can say that I have a great staff too, right? So I'm very particular with who I hire, and with being in tech in the tech business, we were fortunate enough to be able to jump right on, right? So we essentially, I couldn't sleep for when we were told that we needed to close our doors, right? March 18, I forget exactly the date, but
Yeah.
it was in March, and I don't really want to remember that those days
Yeah. Yeah.
about it. But we were told we needed to shut our doors, and I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights. I mean, I stay up just thinking of ways forward, right? What can we do? I didn't want to close, right? As a new business, completely closing operations it's pretty much, it's critical, right? Yeah, we had to close our in person, but being tech and being in the teaching aspect of it, having technology like this, we wanted to move to virtual sessions, right? That was our plan. So for the first 2 3 nights, I was just thinking of, okay, I was working on making those changes, making those adjustments to move our operations to complete to 100% virtual, and that's what we did. So I met with my staff for a couple of days. I put a plan in place, and this is what we need to do. We're going virtual. We're going to do private lessons, group lessons, and we did. And that's what we were able to maintain. Majority of our customers. I'm not going to say that we were able to maintain 100% of our customers, unfortunately, but yeah, everyone took a hit. I mean, from every small business, but I was able to continue to provide to those that decided to stay with us. We were able to provide those, same experience with just doing it virtually.
And then now, are we still virtual? Are we in
No, so
person, or?
we no we're now we were able to reopen. We apply for the COVID-19 compliance business partnership with the San Bernardino County. We presented our plan of how we plan to do business, so we were able to open Memorial Day weekend. Actually, Memorial Day, that was our first day when we resume our in-person hours. So we have been open since then, but we are continuing to do virtual sessions as well. So we have some of the families that are still not comfortable. They have people at risk at home, so they're not comfortable coming to a center. So we're still providing those virtual services, but of course we have our in-person operations as well.
Got it. That's perfect. Great adaptation. Good for you guys. So if parents interested in their child joining, how's it work? Is there a membership or paid per classes per month? What's the scenario there? How's that work?
Yes, so we have different programs. Our main program is called the Create program. It works like a gym membership. Essentially, you're buying sessions every 30 days. So you get and you have the flexibility to, if to try it out for a month, especially with kids. Um, some kids would like it for a month and two, and then they want to do another, like sports or something else, right? So that kind of gives the parents a great flexibility as well. So it works like a gym membership, and we also have different programs. We do camps, like 1 day camp, 3 day camps, like an all week camp. So we have different options as well.
Got it. Got it. And what can kids expect to learn? I know you kind of chat a little bit about it. What can they expect to learn, and why is that important? Like I said earlier, even more so now, or just as technology continues to evolve.
Yeah. So the main program at Code Ninjas is, again, they're building video games and learning to code at the same time, right? They don't really realize that they're learning all those different concepts because they're building video games and they're testing them by playing them, right? So our program is based on a karate belt system. So they start as a white belt, they go all the way to the black belt. Um, and as a white belt, they start with, especially with the kids that have not done any coding in the past. And you'd be surprised. You have 7-year-olds that will tell you, "Oh yeah, I've been coding for a year." I'm like, "What? Like you're 7."
Yeah.
But so they start with it's called block-based programming, which essentially is like putting puzzles together, like the Legos of coding. You're putting puzzles together, puzzle pieces together, and creating programs that way. And we use it's actually a fairly known program developed by MIT. It's called Scratch. And that really, I mean, that's used even in college nowadays where they're teaching, we teach the basics by using those code blocks without having them to actually write it out, right? So that's really how they start as a white belt. So part of the white belt, they do that. and then they move on to another language called JavaScript, and they use a Code Ninjas custom game development platform at that point, and they do that from that part of white belt all the way to green belt. And then once they graduate, they built up from green belt. They move on to blue belt, and at that point, they use Lua script. It was a language that Roblox uses, and I'm not sure if you heard of Roblox. It was a game, popular game amongst kids too, and it will be used in Roblox Studio at that point. So they're actually coding and building stuff within Roblox.
Got it.
And then purple to black belt, they use C sharp, and then at that point they're using Unity, which is a common platform that game developers use in the real world. And the main goal is to get to once you get to black belt, the main goal is for them to, plan, design, implement, and publish their game publicly. And that's really the black belt is kind of like the senior project of our system.
And so what ages does that encompass? I know you mentioned 7-year-old. Is that the youngest? And what's typically your oldest?
So we have actually even a junior program too. So we start from 5 all the way to 14 right now.
Okay.
And
no adults.
And not yet.
Not yet.
There's actually in the works. We are planning to expand the programs to adults. So it'll be 14 and up. That's the Code Ninjas Pro program, and that's actually being worked on right now.
Got it.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be called Code Samurai or something.
Yeah, that'd be good.
What do you like best working with at Code Ninjas?
Oh, there's so many things, and I'm not just saying it because I'm the owner, right? But so it's amazing to see, a 6 or 5-year-old to just. I use one kid for example. He's a 5-year-old. He's in our junior program, and he's able to put like sequences of games together and understand what an algorithm is. An algorithm, for those listening that are not familiar with that term, is really a set of instructions, right? So having a 5-year-old to explain that to you, right? When you ask that question, do you know what an algorithm is? And they tell you that is a set of instructions, right? I mean, that alone is just amazing, right? When I was a 5-year-old. First of all, I didn't even have access to a computer like that, right? But
yeah,
I wasn't exposed to tech the way the kids are nowadays. So I love seeing kids at such a young age being exposed to the technology and learning all the different concepts and seeing the potential that technology has. It's just, that's really what amazes me. That's really what I love about my job. And just making a brighter future. That's.
Makes sense. What best about the community do you most enjoy about working with the students in Chino and Chino Hills?
Well, the families in our community are known for they want their kids to be involved in after school programs. They want their kids to have better opportunities when they grow up. So our families are very supportive with what we're doing. They understand the need to expose kids at this age to the tech and learning all those basics now. Let's just face it. I mean, it's just now, a few years back, there was a lot of pushback with, jobs requiring the tech knowledge and, oh, they're taking my job away. But no, people started adapting, right? You saw the two sides of of our community. One, that no, they reject the change and they don't want to adapt to it, and the ones that did, right? The ones that did, of course, they're moving forward. They're moving with tech. Tech is not going away. Screen time is not going away. So and that's one of the things that I love about our family is that they understand that screen time is not going away. No matter what you said, oh no, my kid's spending way too much time on screen. Unfortunately, it's not going away. So what I tell the parents, and
we've learned that especially today, right? Like.
Exactly, right.
Even more so.
It's just face it, it's not, right? So my logic behind it is that, let's turn that around. Let's make it a positive, right? So instead of being a consumer of, screen time, being a consumer, let's make our kids a producer, right? Make that more efficient and not just being there and consumed by their games and just playing them, but actually making them and making something out of it. I mean, that's really how we can turn that around. And our parents in our communities, I mean, they know that, and I love how they push their kids. They want their kids to do better. They want a brighter future for them, and And that's really what I love about our community here.
Got to encourage the creativity and collaboration, stuff like that.
Yep. Encourages that, the problem solving, critical thinking. I mean, there's so much more than just coding and learning robotics. It's just, there's more to it. There are different skill sets that they learn as they go through our program. Just communication alone. I mean, just, a kid from being real shy and all of a sudden you see the changes as they go through the different, projects, and they come to our center every day. You start seeing them change, right, to being more open and more talkative. And I mean, that it's amazing to see those changes in our kids.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Shifting gears a little bit, what's your favorite lunch spot in Chino or Chino Hills?
Wow, there are so many to mention, to be honest. That's one of my weaknesses, food, man. I love food, and there are so many great spots in Chino Hills. I mean, I hate to just mention just
I'll
one.
give you three. You can go three.
All right, so I love my barbecue. So Lucille's is my one good spot to go to.
And you can walk to it at work.
Except yes, and that's everything. I love a good poke place. There's a poke place near my shopping center, of course.
Okay.
And then I'm Hottie's in the shops. I mean, that's the Hottie's chicken place.
Sure.
That's another good spot too that I go to. And
no one's mentioned that one, so that's a new one.
Yeah, I do love that. And I know that they had another place that I went to, and unfortunately they had to close down. But I mean, there are so many places. I mean, my Chinese food is always, it's good for me too. Like, I love Chinese food, and there are so many places that I go to, and the noodle house and walk. Too many to mention.
You can go all day. You can go all day.
I know. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, to leave us, is there anything that I didn't ask, didn't mention that I should have, that you'd like to highlight? Maybe any upcoming events, or anything to highlight in your business?
Yeah. First, I just want to go over some of the COVID-19 protocols that we're following too. We are doing temperature checks for anybody that comes into our center. Everyone is, it's mandatory to wear a mask or a shield. Some of the kids wear mask and shield. Some of our senses even wear mask and shield. We're enforcing the 6 feet, the social distancing. Every kid that comes in, they go right to our hands washing station. They are monitored by one of our senseis. And I call senseis, I don't know if I mentioned that, but they're the instructors.
Got it.
So they monitor the kids to make sure that they wash their hands for 20 seconds. We're limited to group activities too, so there's no close activities being done because of COVID. We are sanitizing the workstations per use. So every kid gets assigned a workstation when they come in, and each workstation or whatever they touch is sanitized after their use. We are only operating at 25% at this point. So we're limiting the amount of kids that we keep in the dojo. I don't know if you've been to it. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to come and check our center out. But we have an amazing state-of-the-art facility. I mean, even our lobby area, we used to have the parents like actually work from there because it's so great. But now, unfortunately, we're not allowing parents to stay there for the whole time. So then they're just dropping them off at this point. Hopefully we get to a point where we can at least social distance in the lobby, and then for them to come in and just work there. But yeah, so that's what we're doing for COVID. So just everyone that wants to just check out the center, feel free to come by and check out how we operate. We're following all the safety protocols to make sure that we not only keeping our customers safe, but our staff as well. The other last thing that I want to mention is the programs that we have coming up too, now that with Thanksgiving coming up and the holiday season. For this month, Veterans Day is around the corner. Maybe as a veteran, so we're gonna have a 1-day camp next week, and veterans will get an additional, $10 off for the camp. So, and later we have 2 nights where we're doing a Roblox party. It's like a Friday night out for parents to just kind of leave their kids at our center for a couple of hours while they go out to eat. And then we just have fun. I mean, we just play games with the kids for a couple hours on a Friday night. So we have 2 of those events this month. After that, we have a camp the week of Thanksgiving, the 3-day camp, Monday through Wednesday as well. And we're actually going to be building Roblox games, a game within Roblox, and we'll be doing that at the week of Thanksgiving. There's also a virtual event. As you can tell, we have a lot going on.
Yeah, lots going on. That's great. That's great.
So the day after Thanksgiving, we have a virtual event where we're going to be partnering with other Code Ninjas and having just a party, a virtual party, which is kind of cool. To be able to do that with other centers as well. And then we have more coming up in December for the holiday break and school break. We have a lot of camps coming up. So the one way to stay tuned is, make sure that, they like us and follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. We are constantly posting updates on there and events. So if you are not doing it, I suggest you do that. And I think you see that in my background.
That was good. You beat me to it. That was gonna be my next question. Where's the best place to get a hold of you? So, what handle on Instagram at Code Ninjas Chino Hills?
Code Ninjas Chino Hills, our handle for Facebook and Instagram. Yep.
Okay, got it. Website, phone number.
So my phone number is 909-536-2633. And our website will be Code Ninjas / Chino Hills, CA Chino Hills.
Got it.
If you just search, do a Google search, we'll come up on your first search there. I think we cover everything. I mean, I just, again, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. I really love that you're doing this for small businesses like ours.
Yeah, my pleasure. This all started actually towards the beginning of the year prior to March, and just as a way to highlight, businesses and individuals in the community. And I think it's kind of moved into even more necessity to help small businesses like yourself continue to thrive in our community.
Yeah, I truly appreciate it. Thanks. I really appreciate that.
My pleasure. Gabriel, thanks so much for joining us today, taking your time out. And to you listeners or viewers, thanks for listening or viewing today for another episode of Chino and the Hills. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.